Okay, so today let's just review things you can do with Python strings. So let's say A is equal to, this is a test. Okay. Now, if you wanted to make a list of words from here, how would you do that? Do you remember?
I kind of remember. I remember not the exact command, but you can go and split it by the space.
Split. Okay, so you can do a dot split, and then you can use the separator as spaces. Very good. Yeah. That's that. Okay. Now there's something that I don't like. That this is a test. That's good, but I need to get rid of punctuation mark dot, and I also want to make this as lowercase so that all of these are formatted uniformly. Okay, so let's first think about this guy here. How do you make this into all lowercase? Dot lower. So if you take this and put lower in it, then it gives you the lowercase, right? Now, how would you replace any periods that you see? Dot replace how? Dot and then empty string. Yeah, that's what you do. Okay. But then, if you want to, so let's do this. We're going to start with A, and then now let's say B is equal to A dot split. So I'm going to go up arrow. I'm going to say B is equal to A dot split, and then I'm going to make a new list out of this list. And of course, I can use a for loop, but the easier way is to use list comprehension. Do you remember list comprehension? You start with a bracket, and what do you say? X for X in B. So it's like a one-line for loop. That's how you can think of this. So you, for every item in B, you gather that X. Right? Now this doesn't do anything because all it does is it creates every new list out of every item in B, so it doesn't do anything. But let's do this. X dot lower for X in B, and then enter. What happened? You see that capital T has now become lowercase t, right? So that's done. But then what if I also want to apply the getting rid of the periods? How would we do that? Any ideas?
Just replace X dot lower with.
I need lower and then both lower and replace.
So when you just add the dot replace.
No, you don't add. Oh yeah, you add. Yeah, I see. Okay. Yeah. So you just do chain. You chain is the right way. This is called method chaining. You apply this method, and what it does is this X dot lower is going to return you another string that's processed, and with that string you're going to chain it with another replace with this. Okay. So so that's what it is, and then yeah, so you do that, and then for X in B. Okay, so you get this. All right, so you've processed this, and when it comes to natural language processing, a lot of times this is what you have to do because you want to tokenize each word, but then you don't want to have test with a dot and test by itself to be tokenized differently. So this is something that you have to do. Okay. Now let me give you another approach to this one. So maybe you want to put this as a function. So define normalize a string s. So this will be normalizing a string so that everything is lowercase. So we're going to say s equals to s dot lower. And then you might want to delete every possible punctuation from it. So you're going to say, another thing that you want to do is you want to strip leading or trailing spaces if there are any. So we're going to do strip. So if it has a empty space on the left side or the right side, all of those will be gone. We are going to assume that S is a single word that you've somehow managed to obtain. So we're not going to worry about spaces there in the between. Okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to say for some punctuation P in, what are some punctuations that we don't want? There could be, there could be a dot, comma, semicolon, colon. You might have a double quotes. And now for single quotes, we'll have to do escape character, backspace single quote. What else? I think that's it. I mean, hyphens we should keep because sometimes words have hyphens in it. And we want to, some names have hyphens in it, and we should keep it. Exclamation mark, sometimes question mark, sometimes, okay? So we have these things, and then we will just say S is equal to S dot replace P by empty string. So S just keeps getting replaced by this newer normalized ones where all the punctuations you see here are gone and all the cases are lowercase, leading or trailing spaces are gone. That's what you want, and you return S. Okay, so you've now made a new function to it, and now how would you apply the normalize to everything in the list B? So how would you apply this normalize function to here? Any suggestions?
You can use a for loop for every term in a list.
Yeah, you can use the list comprehension again. So you would do normalize x for x in B. So that would be doing this. Now, it seems like a lot more code to achieve the same thing, but remember that in our previous one, we only handled the dot punctuation. Here, we're doing more stuff, right? So even if we have more complex things, like for example, if we had B equals to, say, yesterday I met the professor working in the lab. Okay, so if I had this, and then if I split this with this and got a longer list, then for this one, with the previous method, it's not going to be able to handle the comma, but with this new one, normalize x for x in B, this is going to be like this, okay? Now, although this list comprehension makes things a lot more compact, it's just a syntactic sugar. If you did the same thing with the for loop instead, uh, it's not any slower. Okay, so this is just the syntactic sugar, but there's a slightly faster one which is called the. Oh no, this is not. But there's a way to achieve the same thing by using this map. Uh, and map by itself is not that fast, but there's a package uh, that makes map and filter and reduce. These are the three key types of functional programming commands. We talked about functional programming briefly in the last semester, right? If you write it this way, then it's easier to optimize for multiple CPUs. So if you're handling big data like this, if you don't have just a single string, but if you have like entire textbook that you're trying to normalize like this, it's better to use the map rather than using list comprehension. Okay, with some additional optimizing Python packages. So we're going to do map normalize, and you just map normalize to every item in B. So that's what it does. But this, it doesn't do anything yet. You have to convert it into list by putting a list in front. So if you do that, then you obtain the exact same thing, but with the possibility that this might be faster. I wonder which one's faster right now. Time it. Let's try to time it. This guy here. Yeah. So when I do time it, it repeats this command many times. So it did 7 different runs of 100,000 loops of this command to see that it takes about 9.85 microseconds for this to run. Okay. But if I do time it of, I'm not so sure if this is any faster. Oh, it's like just a little bit faster. But there's a separate Python package that allows map to use multiple CPUs, not just a single CPU, and that makes things faster. See, if you have many CPUs, which nowadays is quite normal, a lot of your laptops will have like 4 or 8 cores. In a single CPU, you have many cores or threads, right? So if you have like 8-core CPU, then you can run 8 different commands concurrently. And the beauty of map is that if you write something in map, it's basically telling the computer that I don't really care about which order that this function is applied to. I just need this function to be applied to every point of the data. So this is what's known as trivially parallelizable problem, because you just have to apply this without having any consideration with the other ones. There are some algorithms. In many cases, algorithms are not trivially parallelizable. You need step A to be done before step B, so you can't do step A and B concurrently. So in those cases, you can't make use of different cores, but this way of doing things, so the 3 most prevalent commands in the functional programming approach is map, reduce, and filter. So filter is like if you want to get rid of certain data points in your data, you use that. Reduce is like if you want to get the total sum, or if you want to get the mean value. These things are, you get one quantity out of the entire thing, but often the calculations that you have to do is it doesn't matter which order you use. If you have to add up every value in the list, it doesn't matter which order you use, right? So those things are called, that's called reduce. All right. Now, how do you go back to join this into a single string? So you can take this list and then you can join it, right? But the problem with join is it's not a method in the list. Instead, it's a method of a string. So you have to first pick a string. So let's say empty string. And then you want to join every item in the list. So that's what you have to do. And it basically joins everything with this empty string. Now, sometimes you need to join things with hyphen in between. So this is how you would join things with hyphen in between. And you can pick any different letters as you want to join. So you might want to do something like, I don't know, for some reason, let's say you want exclamation mark everywhere. So you can do it this way. So that's join.